Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is Fabian. Today I want to talk about, well, you could tell I'm at work, but nobody's here right now, so I want to make a quick video because this has been in my head and I want to share it with you. Um, I've been about maybe, I think, I started my transition on, I believe, April of 2019. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, so 10 months. I've been on testosterone for about 10 months, and there has been a lot of changes, man, on my during my transition. That this is why. Here's the call. Give me a second. Sorry, we're gonna get interrupted every now and then. Yeah. So there's I want to share with you guys. To me, it's great. All my changes. I know there's pros and cons, but overall, my experience is great for me, and I am glad that I took this step on my transition, and it's the best thing I could have done for me because it spiked up my confidence level. I feel more comfortable about myself now because I feel that now I am in the correct body. However, there's a lot of people who end up not being comfortable with their bodies, and I wanted to talk about that. There's a thing that I recommend you must do. I recommend that you should do it before you start your transition, and that's speak with a therapist. I've probably mentioned about it. I'm sorry. I probably talked about it before on my videos. Um, Always talk to a therapist or someone that will help you to identify yourself first. Now, I know you might say, Pazuma, man, I already know that I'm in the wrong body. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a transgender and I wouldn't want to start my transition, right? Yes, you might know, I know, right? But a therapist will help you to really feel comfortable with yourself. There's nothing worse than to start your transition because you hate your body, but you haven't worked with the personal problems first. Things that get us depressed. And I'm not talking about the depression that we get because of the dysphoria we have with our bodies. I'm talking about personal depression, about us not being comfortable with who we are, not accepting who we are, and not working with what we have. Um, One of the reasons is because, one, testosterone, if you're going from female to male, testosterone spikes up your sexual desire, spikes up your libido, and you're gonna be a whole lot more sexually active. Now, that's a great thing to all of us, right? Especially if you're someone that maybe it's not. This will be a good thing for you. But the thing with that is that when you're uh when you're born a biological female and testosterone increases your libido, right? Increases your sex drive. What do you think is the first thing that starts filling all the stuff? It's your private parts, man. Even though you're in the wrong body, you know what we have. And I'll just use it the way it is. It's a vagina, right? Um, that private part, give me a second. Sorry, guys. Um, that part becomes very active. A lot of things happen to it, and it starts wanting more things, right? It becomes more sensitive. You know that our clitoris grows because testosterone is trying to grow a penis, so it becomes larger within time. However, that's not the only thing that a cis female has. You also have other parts around that area, right? So if you're someone that, I personally, it's not for me, but it's when some people start to realize that they are okay with penetration because they probably were not okay with it before, they're dysphoric about that area. But testosterone wakes a lot of sensations because we don't we don't have a penis. If you had a penis, you have a hard on all the time, but unfortunately you don't. So we have other types of reactions down there. To some, you become okay with it and you start to experiment and you realize that, you know what, you like that, you like penetration, and you start to realize that that's when some people start to realize that they might be curious to be with a man. And that's sometimes one of the reasons why people say, why did you transition from female to male and now you like men and now you're gay? You know, now we already know that sexual desire has nothing to do uh, with being dysphoric about your body. However, I'm talking about the people that were not into men before and now they are, right? And that's one of the things that might become very dysphoric later, where they might be upset about the transition because now they wish they had their female body. They wish they never started. Or sometimes more dysphorias might come across because now you have to present yourself as gay, or you don't even have to put a label to yourself, to be honest. Just be a human being and be happy. However, sometimes the happiness overtakes us when we start to realize those kind of things. So that's one thing that could happen. So it's very important that you speak with someone about those possibilities and be prepared for all types of changes. Um, Talking about reality of what really is going on. Don't sugarcoat anything. You know, this is what it is. You are a cis woman. You will start your transition. This is what could happen. Are you gonna be okay with that? Are you interested in men now? Are you curious about men now, or anything else, right? Maybe you're into other transgender people and you don't know about it, right? Have your mind open. Don't start your transition with a closed mentality, because things could change, and it's not that you were not a certain individual interested in penetration before. It's just that maybe you, in the back of your mind, you were. However, you were never comfortable to try it because you were very dysphoric. But when you take testosterone, it wakes up a lot of things, and now you try it out, and then you like it, and then things happen. So this is why I recommend that you speak with a therapist, a professional, or someone that will help you to figure out, do I really like that? Will I be okay if that ever happens? So you get more mentally prepared. Um, Personally, for me, I'm not gay. I have my wife. I'm very happy with her. But I was able to identify all of this also before I started my transition, and I'm very sure of what I like and what I don't like. So it's really good to try to speak to someone about it. Um, that's one of the things I wanted. Another thing is about the confidence level that testosterone brings on people. Testosterone gives you more physical strength and male characteristic. I can't pronounce the word. Give me a second. Yeah, sorry. So it gives you a lot of changes, right? And confidence is one of the things that you start getting also. You realize that, one, you either become confident with the changes that you're seeing, or two, you start to realize that you missed the body that you once had before. When you start seeing that change, that your past self, for example, my name is Zulma, but I'm gonna be called Fabian once I do my name change and pronoun change and everything. So I'm gonna use my name for example. When I see that Zulma literally starts fading away, all those little feminine part figures and stuff, right? You've been with yourself for so long that sometimes you could realize that you're gonna miss something about that, or Two, you could be very happy that it's finally gone. And you don't realize that sometimes until you see yourself fading away and your new self just coming out, which is who you really are inside, right? And you look at a mirror and you're happy with finally what you see. Or two, you could look at yourself and be like, you start missing who you were once before. Again, in my case, that is not the situation. But I noticed that when I started seeing Zuma fading away and more Fabians coming out, um, it was a slightly emotional for me because you was, even though I'm happy with who I'm becoming, it's something that I've also been with Zuma for my whole life. That when you see faded away, is kind of like a sad goodbye, but also a happy hello, because I'm finally able to be a new me with the changes that I'm experiencing, my physical changes that I'm experiencing, and that could be actually pretty traumatic for some people to see that completely fade away. And then you realize that when you get in that confidence, you were starting to actually be comfortable with who you were, and it could become a problem. So it's good to talk to a therapist about this and talk about this, because it could happen, and be prepared for it, so you know that you're gonna either be willing to accept your new self, or in reality you don't really want to lose yourself, that you who you are now. Maybe you want to work on something different, which is accepting yourself the way you really are, because when you really lose that persona, physical persona of who you are, the physical representation of you, a new dysphoria might come, because you might have another physical representation of you that you no longer want anymore, because you probably just miss who you were once at the past. I don't know if I explained that correctly, but sorry about that, guys. Um, and last is that even after you have your changes, don't start transitioning assuming that, oh, I'm not gonna be happy until I see that change. I'm gonna be dysphoric until I'm able to fully transition. If you try to come in with that mentality, you're setting yourself up for failure, because there's always gonna be something you could find yourself to be dysphoric about. Once you've transitioned, for example, me, I'm 10 months in my transition and I still don't have a penis. I could cry about it. It is hard for me, because obviously, in my mentality, I know that my soul did not interact with my physical body. My soul, the soul of a man, and it didn't work properly with my body, right? And unfortunately, here I am with the soul of a man and a body of a woman, and it's challenging. But I have to work with what I got, and I have to be happy with the changes that I'm able to at least do physically here on this earth during this lifetime. But I also had to understand that nothing's ever going to be 100%. I'm not ever going to be 100% a cis male, because I was not born a cis male. So even if I do end up getting, I don't know how you call it, phalloplasty, metatoid-plasty, something like that. You guys probably know it better than me. It's also not going to function exactly like a regular cis man's penis, because one, we don't produce any sperm, right? There's not going to be any ejaculation like it is from regular cis men. Um, it's obviously not going to work or function exactly the same. So we should be willing to accept that, um, and at least be thankful with what we're going to be able to do. But keep in mind that once you've already have a change, sometimes you might want something more. So let's not be the type of person. Let's first appreciate the little bit that we have, what, thanks to technology, what we are able to do here, and don't let the other things that we cannot have control over and we cannot change in this lifetime, don't let that get to you. Think about it now, because if you change and then you get dysphoric because you still don't have a penis, that could become a problem. Um, it's extremely expensive. If you have the money, great. If you don't kill yourself and be like, man, until I have the money, until I'm able to do everything, I'm going to be happy. Don't say that. Be happy and thankful with what you have and what you're able to do. Even if you're in your first day of your transition, don't be like, man, why is this taking so slow? You started today, man, I have a long way to go. No, you started. That's good. Some people haven't yet, and if you haven't started yet, don't kill yourself for that either, because if you're watching this video, it means you're thinking about it. You're in the right steps. But let's be patient. Let's be very patient and talk to somebody first. I'm glad that I did, and I still am during my transition. Any questions I have, I ask my therapist, and she's very helpful. I don't know what I would have done if I wasn't in a more stable state of mind, and I would have realized I wasn't happy with this transition. There's a lot of us that's been through that. I can't think of anything else right now, guys. I hope this is helpful. It just came out in my head. I wrote some stuff down really quick to share it with you guys. It's the first video that I've made right now, so it's not like I'm remaking videos over and over again. So I'm sorry if it's, too much. Yeah, I gotta get back to work now. My lunch is over. Peace.